Good evening, my fellow Americans. I'm not going to take an hour of your time, or half hour of your time, or even 15 minutes of your time. I'm going to take less than 10 minutes to explain the state of our union, how we got here, and how we get out. My fellow Americans, the state of our union is critical. We are so deeply in debt that within the decade, we will be spending more in interest on the debt than we will on our entire military budget. That's just the interest, not the actual debt. By 2015, we'll be paying for the entire Chinese military budget, since we owe them so much money. What have we gotten for all this cash? Well, we certainly haven't gotten jobs. Nearly half of all working-age Americans are either unemployed, underemployed, or have dropped out of the labor force entirely. The real unemployment rate is somewhere near 11%, not 8.5. The economy, to put it politely, stinks, and we all know it. Spending vast quantities of money hasn't given our children a good education either. Thanks to the teachers' unions, which effectively bribe politicians all over the country to keep bad teachers employed and tenured, American children rank 14th in the industrialized world in reading, 17th in science, and 25th in math. There are plenty of jobs available in America, in places like Silicon Valley, but we don't have enough qualified people to fill them because our education system has been bought and paid for by the greedy, perverse teachers' unions. And while President Obama talks about everybody needing to stay in school and go to college, if our schools are terrible, all we're doing is prolonging their uselessness. And all that money we're spending isn't making the world safer either. China is building up its military. Russia is actively undermining us. Both those countries are extending their spheres of influence to South America. Our allies, like Britain and France, are rightly angry at us, and our treatment of Israel has been utterly shameful. In the Middle East, Iran is developing nuclear weapons. They're threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, we pretend that the international community is united behind us, even as China and Russia stonewall all action. Libya, Egypt, Tunis, they've all fallen to the Islamists. The Jew haters in the Palestinian Authority and Hamas have been emboldened. Bashar Assad in Syria is murdering his own people en masse. Iraq is spiraling back down into chaos. Pakistan is an absolute disaster zone. And in Afghanistan, we are now negotiating with the same folks we toppled after they provided bin Laden safe haven. Sure, bin Laden's dead, great. But pretending that killing bin Laden solved the Islamist threat is worse than wrong. It's actually reprehensible because it gives us the same sense of false security that led to 9/11 in the first place. Meanwhile, of course, we slash the military budget. And things are slated to get worse. In the next year, if reelected, President Obama will allow the Bush tax rates to expire. He'll vastly increase the burdensome regulations that kill business. Obamacare will kick in, destroying our health care in the name of a phantom right that comes with very real duties. Yes, this is President Obama's fault. It's the fault of his radical leftist Democrat allies in the Congress and in the states. It's the fault of spineless Republicans who cave every time they're tested. But ultimately, this is a republic. We elected these corrupt, incompetent, petty would-be tyrants and appeasers. Want to know why our government is out of control? It's because for close to a century, we've lived out of control. We've railed against big spending, unless that spending went to our home district. We bashed Congress, and then we sent the same corrupt, useless officials back to Washington, D.C. to engage in crony capitalism. We've talked about entrepreneurialism, then given the green light to labor unions that stifle innovation, regulators who protect us against a booming economy, and legislators who make their living by pandering to those who don't work or pay taxes in the first place. We've claimed that we care about a moral foreign policy and then shied away from victory. Worst of all, we've pretended to care about the Constitution and then called for a more effective government that ignores all constitutional restraints in the name of getting things done. And the things our government gets done, those have cut the heart out of American liberty. We're now a nation on the brink. We can leap forward into the abyss, or we can move away from the cliff. What we can't do is stand still. The winds are blowing. We're swaying on the precipice. But here's the good news. Now's the time for clarity. It's easy to ignore reality when the chasm seems far away. But now, when we look down, and it is a long fall to civilizational irrelevance, the choice becomes clear. We can close our eyes and jump. We can listen to a president who wants to push us from behind, a Congress that nudges us towards the drop, and a media desperate to see us take the plunge headlong into the dark night of national decay. Or we can fight back. And we will fight. Because we are a nation of fighters. We will not be talked down to. We vow not to heed the words of the so-called experts who expect us to defer to their superior knowledge. They say that the business of running the country should be left to the experts. We say that we are the experts and we can run our own damn lives, thank you very much. They say trust us. And we say no, you paternalistic, arrogant fools. You trust us. This will be a battle for the soul of America, and we will win. This fight won't be easy. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be chaotic. It'll be plenty messy. We won't all be President Obama's soldiers, as he fascistically suggested we should, and we won't be shills for either party. We won't be taken in by politicians who tell us they're going to save us, then tell us to take a leap of faith with them. We'll rely on ourselves and on the constitutional system that protects us, the greatest system ever devised by mankind. The system that guarantees our right to be free from government, not some phantom right to be taken care of by government. The system that celebrates the friction of free people making free arguments, not a forced unanimity that ends in chains. The system that builds on the individual, not the collective. What makes our country great is the individual. This isn't yes, we can. It's yes, you can. If made free to pursue your dreams, you will succeed, and you will make the world a better place. For too long, we've been made to feel that if we do what's best for ourselves and our families, we can't do what's best for the country. The truth is precisely the opposite. Freedom to act in accordance with traditional American values, on behalf of those we love, is the essence of America's greatness. That greatness doesn't come from building the Hoover Dam or the National Highway System. It comes from us, sitting with our families around the dinner table, enjoying the fruits of our labors, celebrating the future of our children. And that future will be bright, so long as we regain the confidence in ourselves that has always made America a light unto the nations. They say it's always darkest just before the dawn. Sometimes that isn't true. Sometimes it's darkest just before it goes pitch black. It's up to us whether we choose to bring the dawn or the darkness. Choose the dawn. The sun of American greatness lurks beyond the horizon. All we have to do is turn around to see it.